Hey everybody, it's Commander Clyde. Welcome back to the solo lane tier list. It's been a bit since I've updated this one, but we're going to go back through this real quick and look at the best gods that you can play in solo and a few other options if you're looking for that spicy team comp. Anyway, our top boys up here, these are our top solo laners as usual. These guys are pretty nasty, and they kind of stay up here because they are generally the best 5 options that you will see. We got to make a revision to this top tier. Now, these guys over here are, this is what I say for your best off-meta solo laners. Of course, the game has changed, and we're going to be swapping once I'm in edit mode. Excuse me. We're going to be swapping these boys down here for these boys right here. Or rather, I guess non-warrior solo laner, because that's meta. And then Susanoo would be the next best one out of the assassins, at least in my opinion. Now, quickly, I'm going to look at the board, and based on what I've seen and what's been going on, we're going to move some gods up. Achilles is getting a lot of playtime in the solo lane. People really like him, so I'm putting him right up here in the top tier for those guys. Same with Guan, actually. Guan used a bit of a weird god in solo right now. I like him a lot because he's actually pretty strong against King Arthur and Tyr, who are generally your most dominant solo laners, apart from Jormungandr, of course. And because of that, I feel he's gotten a lot stronger. And I've actually been using Guan Yu in a lot of different matchups and doing surprisingly well. I think I've actually got a pretty high win rate in ranked Conquest with him. So, yeah, that's really good. Hercules, you're going to be at the top end of S now. He's been getting a lot more play time, looking pretty strong, so put that in S. Cerberus is going to move up into the next tier of available options. This is basically, the S tier is if your strongest options are not available to you in some way, which doubtful one of these gods wouldn't be available to you, then you can go ahead and go down here to this. I actually like Cerberus a lot more than that, so we'll put him as one of your best options if you don't have the absolute best available to you. I think Robin's going to fall down quite a bit in the solo lane options. Here he's kind of if you really don't have anything and you want extra mobility, fine. I mean, not that these tiers matter. These are just gods that can play it, but aren't that good, which this is going to change drastically. I forgot about Sobek. There's actually a lot of good solo laners right now, and Sobek's one of them, so he goes up here. Which means we could actually dump Guan and put him back in S, but as a better option than he was before. Because technically he's not a top option, he's a matchup based god for the most part. So I don't think that necessarily nets him a spot as a top option. This was kind of a meme before, but I'm liking the Thanatos solo less. I've seen a solo troll experiment with that, and it's not worked out for him. I'm on a stage where he is because he's been a good jungler right now. You're not seeing him in the solo very much. Odin's going to get moved up because obviously he's a better god than when I made this list, so he can hang out up here and chill. I got one here that I'm actually going to pull back in. So while before I did say Erlang Shen was better in jungle and support, doesn't mean he can't play solo. He's kind of in a state of Vamana right now, being more of a jungler really than anything, but he can still play the role quite well. I've played around with it a bit and it looks like he hasn't missed much of a step. Isis was here because at the time I made this, that was right after she got buffed, so she hangs out here. But I think she's in a similar position to Help right now, so it stays there. Same logic of gods being just really good generally. Kind of forget Persephone exists, so we will throw her in there just because that's an annoying character and she's just good. Not a whole lot to say. Mulan is kind of going to go in the middle of the pack on S here. She's kind of an odd character right now, in my opinion. There's a lot of gods she gets very easily bullied by, and there's also gods she can bully herself, but it can be kind of difficult. Certain matchups are just not good for her, period, and that holds her back quite a bit. And of course our newest entry, Baba Yaga, kind of a situational god. She's not bad in solo, but it's really awkward. She can be kind of vulnerable to getting bullied, to getting ganked, because it's not easy for her to escape, although she does have some very good defensive tools that will help keep her alive. And I think that's good. Kuzumbo is going to come up here in the solo tier list. I haven't had him here before, but he was not being played in solo before, and now you see him in ranked occasionally, and it's pretty good. So he's going to hang out there. Same thing with Baron. You've seen it a few times. You've seen Final K pull it out a couple of times in pro games, and it's done pretty well, although this is a very kind of situational character. He's a very safe god. He's most likely going to win you the lane if you don't play like an idiot. And that safety is pretty valuable until he hangs out there. Hunter options. I'm going to actually give Heim a little bit of a boost here because he's a really good hunter right now. Because, you know, he basically, if he's in the solo role, he's basically got a free TP. So you can get other relics. And that's a pretty helpful thing to have. So I'm going to fit him in above the other hunter options that I think could work in solo. Although, again, it's still my opinion that hunters do not belong in the solo lane. But again, a few options if you're looking for that in your comp. But you may not be, because that's really not a rank or top level strat anymore. That used to be a thing in like season 3 or something like that, but it's really not. It's not good right now. Ah, yes, my friend Hades. Hello, come here. I will put you here, about even level with Odin. Because Hades is not going to lose the lane, period. He just doesn't. His ult gives him lots of prots if he gets in trouble. His heal is enormous. It can clear ways very fast. always have constant wave pressure, which makes him really good at proxying because he's gonna 1-3 waves dead, and then that's it. He's very quick about that, very safe, and we like that. And his late game is super annoying because he literally just like blinks at people and ults, and then nothing happens because you can't kill him, and he just gets your relics for free, or you die because you're caught in a Hades ult and you're getting hit by the enemy carry. And then you're dead. So, yep. Pretty strong right now. Gonna touch on another weird god. Terra. Kind of put her in the same spot as, in the same place as Kuzenbo right now. Not a top level soul laner. Situational, but can be effective at those times when you need her to be. We've seen Yarkor and I believe Ducky has also done the Terra solo in pro matches, and they've done pretty well. It's not exactly a god you're going to have a standout performance on, but you can be very integral to your team. She's very good team fighting. Very good at team fighting. And that's honestly her main strength, I think, of why she gets picked up a lot, because a lot of comps that rely on synergy would like to have a god like Terra in their solo lane. Okay, do any other gods really function well in solo? On the board here, I wouldn't say so. There's some mages that can situationally do that up here, but you're really not looking for it, because solo laners have to do specific things. They have to have specific things in their kit that make them work well in the role. And this list up here, this is top level what you'd want to do, in my opinion. So a lot of the gods aren't going to be here because they're not top level strats. If you're doing that, it's a one-off for fun, or you have the like perfect comp to fit this god in or something like that. Otherwise, it's not really that great. I guess Naja technically fits the bill here, but he's going down here. Not a god I really touch on very much because it's, again, difficult to fit him in with how he works. Because an Naja solo, unless you're going to build a bunch of damage, is not really going to be a massive threat. He's just kind of a CC ult bot at that point, and that's not really great because that's not always the most threatening thing to your enemy. So I'll keep him down there. Chicken hunters real quick to see if how many of them actually have things built in that make them desirable in the solo. But I think the gods I put down there were there for a reason. So yeah. No other hunters. We'll talk about why these ones are here. With Cupid, it's sustain, Neith, sustain, Hachiman, sustain. Those three are in here because sustain, basically. Health, mana, sustain. Which means you can get more health pots, so Hachiman, therefore more health sustain also. Because of that, they all have mostly decent mobility. They're not going to get caught. They have very good ultimates for crowd control and other abilities for crowd control that work really well. So I have Honor here because he has the most crowd control of any hunter, because he has knock up, knock back into stun, slow, and that gives him a steroid, which also affords him the ability to be tankier if he wants to and still deal a lot of damage. So that's why these four are allowed to be here, because they have specific things in their kit that make them fit the role. Again, same thing why we don't have every mage in here. Why we have these. Of course, we have this one and this one because these gods are stupid. And that's just how it is. They're just good. And then Hell, obviously, big sustain. So, that's why she fits there, because she can sustain in the lane really well. And we like that on gods. Same with Afro, we like that on gods. And then the rest of the mages don't really have built-in. They're not like so ridiculously good that you just want to pick them, or they don't have something in their kit like built-in sustain to warrant usage in the solo lane. So anyway, that's it. So to summarize, your S plus tier, these are your top solo laners you're looking for, plus best alternative option, generally speaking. Now, this gets a little bit weird because Susanoo's technically not a meta solo laner, but he is the best non-meta god, in my opinion, that you can put in the solo lane. Haddix has shown that to be the case. So have other people. Now, these guys down here are either don't have anything special being non-meta, but are still good enough that you could think about them in certain situations, or they're just meta solo laners that are not as good as this tier up here. So that technicality gets a little bit weird. I could just move Susanoo, but actually, forget the rule. I'm gonna just move him, put him down here. Okay. Yeah, I think that's better. We get our one assassin up here because his sustain doesn't make sense. And then, yes, down here you have strong non-meta options plus meta options that are not as strong as your top tier. And then down here you have gods that you can situationally use for different things, or are useful in other roles but can be used in the solo lane in certain situations. And then you have hunter options if you're that kind of a freak and you actually want to think about picking hunter in solo. Don't, by the way, but you can. These would be the ones you'd want to pick. And with that, we're done, everybody. That's an updated solo lane tier list for this season. Thanks everybody for watching. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Leave a comment down below with your thoughts on the tier list. And of course, check the helpful links down in the description. And I'll see you guys next time for some more Smite. Have a good one.